The most dangerous people in the underworld today are women. Yes, you heard right. They don't raise their voice, they raise body counts. From smuggling to chopping up enemies, mass executions to torturing rivals, drug trafficking and violence. They're more brutal and cold than ever. So why is no one talking about it? Stick to the end. The truth is more chilling than you think. When we think of dangerous criminals or mafia, we often picture ruthless men. But the reality is, some of the most lethal gangsters are women who use society's stereotypes as their greatest advantage. Women have always been involved in crime, illegal activities, drug trafficking, violence, yet it is typically seen as a man's game. That assumption has left a blind spot in law enforcement and public perception. The irony is that this very blind spot gives female gangsters an edge, the invisibility advantage. Female gangsters often go unnoticed, they fly under the radar, slipping through the cracks because law enforcement and rivals underestimate them. Society often doesn't picture women as violent criminals, and neither do some cops or rivals. Gangs know this and use it. Experts like criminologist Melissa Hamilton also highlight how female criminals exploit gender stereotypes. Police rarely search women thoroughly, allowing them to transport drugs and weapons undetected. A female can get away with drug dealing more than a man because she can hide her drugs. She can stuff them in her vagina. Gang members themselves admit women have a strategic advantage. Since male officers typically avoid thorough searches, women often stash drugs in their bras or underwear, anywhere male police can't search, using their bodies to evade capture, said one gang member. It might sound crude, but it works unless a female cop is present. The drugs or weapons stay hidden, and the female suspect walks free. Strategic violence versus impulsive aggression. Another factor that makes female gangsters especially dangerous is how they use violence. We often assume men are the more aggressive and trigger-happy gender. Indeed, men still commit the majority of violent crimes. But the women who do violence are more strategic, calculated, and unexpected, and that in some ways is scarier. Males, on average, have lower self-control and higher impulsivity, which contributes to higher crime rates. Psychologically, women usually display higher self-control, which makes their attacks premeditated and precise. Gang members in South Africa have a chilling saying, "A woman is more dangerous than a loaded gun." A male gang member might fire a gun in a crowded street as an act of bravado or anger. A female gang member, on the other hand, quietly gains a victim's trust and chooses the perfect moment to eliminate them. Meet Griselda Blanco, better known in the underworld as the godmother of cocaine. If you ever needed proof that a woman could outmatch the brutality of any man in the game, Griselda is the blueprint. In the blood-soaked chaos of the 1970s and 80s Miami drug wars, she didn't just play the game, she actually ran it. Griselda carved out her own empire. She wasn't a sidekick, she was the boss. She ran her own empire. By some accounts, she smuggled 3 tons of cocaine into the US annually, raking in about $80 million per month at her peak, and pocketed billions of dollars from trafficking, which turned Miami into a battlefield in the process. But money alone doesn't get you a name, like La Madrina. Griselda didn't just silence her enemies, she erased them. She ruled with an iron trigger unleashed, a wave of violence that gave birth to what's now known as the Cocaine Cowboy Wars. She allegedly ordered numerous murders. Many were carried out by hitmen on motorcycles, a drive-by method she was said to have invented. She earned the name Black Widow not from mythology, but from reality, because she was believed to have ordered the murder of each of her 3 husbands. Yes, every man who married her ended up dead. By the early 80s, her name was in connection with over 40 confirmed homicides, and some say the real number was closer to 200. There are a lot of men who've ruled the streets, but none who matched Griselda Blanco's level of cold-blooded terror. She wasn't just part of the drug game, she was the drug game. Ironically, after all the bloodshed she planned, Blanco met a fate straight out of a gangster thriller. In 2012, after serving prison time in the US and being deported back to Colombia, the 69-year-old godmother was gunned down in the streets of Medellin by, you guessed it, a motorcycle assassin. Modern examples. If you think female gangsters died out with the cocaine cowboys, think again. In modern gangs, women continue to take on dangerous roles. The notorious gang, MS-13, is infamously brutal, known for heinous attacks and killings of rivals. MS-13 also relies heavily on women. In one chilling U.S. case from 2019, a young woman named Lydia Del Carmen Rodriguez proved just how lethal a female gang associate can be. She was an MS-13 affiliate on Long Island, New York, who lured a 15-year-old boy to a park under false pretenses. The boy thought he was meeting her for a hangout. In reality, Lydia was setting him up. Once she had trapped him in a secluded wooded area, her fellow MS-13 members emerged from hiding and brutally murdered the teen. Authorities recognized her crucial role as bait. MS-13 is not unique. Women in various gangs have also taken part in assassinations, kidnappings, and torture. A striking example is Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel, better known by her nickname La Catrina. She was a 21-year-old Mexican cartel assassin who became a local legend. Don't let the fool you, La Catrina earned it. In October 2019, she personally planned and executed an ambush on police officers in Michoacan, Mexico, which killed over 14 officers in one attack. A month later, she helped coordinate another deadly assault that left a total of 40 state police officers dead. Her bosses in the Jalisco New Generation cartel were so impressed by her that they promoted her to a Plaza Boss local commander, in charge of her own crew of hitmen. La Catrina reveled in her reputation. She even posted glamorous selfies on Instagram, even as she carried out ruthless violence. When the Mexican authorities finally closed in on her in January 2020, she died in a shootout, gun in hand. The double life tactic. How do these dangerous women avoid drawing attention to themselves? Share your thoughts below. A big part of it is living a double life. Many female gangsters master the art of looking completely ordinary or even virtuous to outsiders, all while running illicit operations in secret. Some infamous examples illustrate this well. Meet Maria Chata Leon, the Los Angeles gang matriarch. Outwardly, she was a 44-year-old mother of 13 children, a mom who lived with her large family. Yet behind closed doors, she led a ruthless drug operation as drug lord. She had alliances with human smugglers, stashed arsenals of weapons, and even built a shrine to a narco saint in her home. To police, she was a nightmare. It took massive raids and a federal task force to finally bring her down. So how do women end up in this dangerous line of work? Gangs actively target young women. Many girls are pulled into gangs through emotional manipulation, relationships, and promises of belonging. A young girl might start dating a gang member and gradually get involved in holding his drugs, carrying messages, until she's in deep. Some teenage girls often enter gangs seeking acceptance, protection, or excitement. Initiation rituals for female recruits can be as terrifying as they are for males. In some gangs, a girl has to endure a physical beating, a jump in, to prove her toughness. The initiation might be to commit a crime, like stealing or even stabbing a rival to show loyalty. Disturbingly, initiation rituals vary from violent beatings to committing crimes, and in the darkest cases, sexual violence. Evolution of female gang. Over recent decades, women's roles in gangs have evolved dramatically. Previously dismissed as minor figures, today they hold significant leadership positions. Women run independent operations, manage finances, organize crimes, and command respect. In some places, women have even formed their own gang sets, running crews of women who control territory and carry out hits, independent of male oversight. This is a significant evolution from decades past, when female gang members were usually seen only as girlfriends or minor players. Women in the crime game have always been underestimated by the cops, by their own crews, and by a world that assumed only men could run the streets. That mistake? It became their weapon. While everyone was watching the loud, these women were playing the long game, quietly, calculating, and lethal. All of this brings us to one cold question. Are female gangsters actually more dangerous, or have we just been blind to the threat all along? Drop your thoughts below, but the truth is, it's both. Thanks for watching. Until the next chapter in the Outlaw Book.